Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hey, Jake.
Hello.
We recommend things to each other, then we come back the next week to talk about and grade them on a scale of 1 to 3. Right now, this will be episode 20. Score is Jake 43, Taylor 44.
Close.
Still haven't found how deep this well goes, but...
No.
We'll figure out how we could rack up the scores.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we're going to catch up a little bit. The first thing I want to bring up is I said we were going to have cameras, and I've abandoned that temporarily. We had them set up.
Yeah.
I'll still film like little things for like the Instagram or whatever.
We recorded last episode.
Yes, recorded all of it. 5 whole gigabits.
Yeah.
Of recording. Our faces and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not doing it this time. So what had happened is I've kind of like rigged my own camera setup by trying to just not buy actual cameras. So one of the cameras, quote unquote, was an iPad that I had plugged into my computer, but the iPad doesn't have just like a follow through like camera function. That's not the camera. Like you can turn it to camera. It's just a screen mirroring thing that I'm using with the recording software, you know?
Okay.
So it shows whatever is up on the iPad is what it records.
Oh.
So if I just click camera and record that feed, it has that little yellow square that follows faces.
Oh.
And I was like, can't have that. And I thought, smart guy, they have a magnifying function on iPad because geezers buy them. And they could like hold it over a newspaper to like use it as a magnifying glass, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm like, genius Taylor, going to use that. What I didn't know is that it's constantly trying to find what it needs to magnify.
Yeah.
And I had it on my stupid face. So every time my face moved, it would like try to autofocus. So it was like, you look fantastic. I might just like do the witness protection blur on my side. It's impossibly, it might just be me. It's impossibly distracting to watch.
I don't know.
And granted, it's probably because I'm looking at me the whole time. Yeah, but it's just in and out of focus. Like there was a toddler that got a hold of a camera and it's just twisting the aperture and adjusting the focus the entire time. It's horrifying. So I'm going to figure out something else, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, dang.
The numbers are fine as they are. What I found out is that Spotify has only been giving me Spotify numbers.
Yeah.
And then I went on we're over 50% Apple now.
Yeah.
So shout out Apple people.
Hey.
So I was like, wow, the numbers haven't really gone up since we put on Apple. It's stayed kind of consistent with Spotify subscribers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I logged into Apple and they're like, you want to see your analytics? And I was like, okay. And they're double what I thought they were because Spotify was just giving it. Spotify's like 38%. Apple's like 50%. And then there's random nonsense,
it's got to be like Spotify. No, I mean Stitcher or something like that.
No, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and then people just listening on their computer.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Like,
Great.
you can do it like in browser because I think if I put
No, I mean it's great. You found out more people are listening.
Yes, I feel like twice as many people are listening to this.
Yay.
And apparently people are taking notes, which is something we will get into later. You corrective sons of bitches. So we do have the YouTube channel right now. I will be uploading the YouTube thing. I know some people like that because it's easier just to pull up on your computer or whatever.
Just
if you're at work or doing whatever. So we'll still be putting up the audio on the YouTube with just a static picture because I've gotten pretty good at doing that. Like shit's spelled right and everything. It's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Yeah. How you been,
Sounds
buddy?
Good.
You're going. What the hell was this thing you were telling me about? You went to. I went to DC as well. Let's hear about your DC trip first.
I went to DC. I took my mother for her birthday to a place called Art Tech House.
Good son.
Of course I am.
Where was that in the DC?
It's right off of. It's right next to the Smithsonian. It's really close to the Smithsonian.
So it's on the mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really close to the salamander.
All right.
Yeah, you know.
Well, he runs around. He's a little lizard guy.
Yeah, so you really have to catch this thing.
Gotta track him.
You have to catch.
That was the dumbest joke.
So it's just this.
I'd like to apologize for everyone taking notes that was a bad joke.
No, it was a great joke.
God damn it. Now I'm in my head.
Okay. Why do you even care?
Spoilers for later. People have been taking notes to correct me.
No.
You know who you are if you're listening to this.
They have grievances that they want to bring up.
I have a grievance. The word is grievance. How about that?
See? They would correct me on that.
Well, I caught him.
It's just grievance?
Right,
okay,
yes.
Anyway. It's called Art Tech House.
Let's get off the rails quick.
It's an installation, all right, that has like a place called an immersion room, which is just this big room with a bunch of projectors in it. And it just shines the entire room with like pictures of butterflies flying all over the place.
So it wasn't real butterflies?
No.
Okay. That would have creeped me out.
It was
kind of... When you were telling me earlier, you're like, oh, that's filled with butterflies. And I was just like, I don't like bugs, man.
Butterflies don't hurt you.
Here's the thing. I don't like butterflies, or I hate butterflies more than I hate other bugs.
Why?
They're just so friggin' fragile.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you break a butterfly, you feel bad about it.
I ain't gonna break no butterfly.
But I'm just saying they've got those little paper lacy wings.
Yeah.
Like if you like try to you catch a butterfly.
You cup.
Yeah.
You cup
you
with your hand.
smush it. You smush it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely not.
See, I like bugs that are cute and sturdy. I like a ladybug. Ladybug, you can flick a ladybug. It's gonna be fine. You flick it across the room, it's gonna fly on the wall and stick there like a booger. Right. It's just gonna look at you. See, too big, too scary. I need pretty
stink bug.
Pretty. No, they smell bad. They smell like cilantro, and I hate that. And like a ladybug is a perfect bug. It's cute. You look at it, you're like, it's not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But also, you don't feel bad about shooing it away.
I like a butterfly. I think they are very pretty.
Butterflies, moths, get out of here.
But it's a big room. It's kind of disorienting, kind of really cool. And then they have a different type of technical art stuff. They had these clear screen TVs where like you can see through them.
But it projects it.
I have no clues. It's got to be OLED. It's got to be OLEDs.
Okay.
You can see right through it.
Thanks for spelling OLED.
Yeah. And you could organic light emitting diode.
Is that the O?
No. Yeah. It's organic. You put electricity into it, and that's what lights it up instead of a black backlight shining through it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I should get one of those switches.
Yeah, right? It's how you can get true black.
I pre-ordered the Tears of the Kingdom OLED switch.
Oh, yeah. It's a good move.
Yeah.
Continue. So, what was cool is like they had vines on it, and you can move your hand over it, and you pluck them like strings, and they make music, and like cocoons burst into butterflies and flowers, and it was a lot of really cool stuff. Wait, so if I put like
my hand behind it, you could see my hand through the thing?
Yeah, like a window.
Fucking way.
Yeah,
I had no idea we had this technology.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's
rad. It was fun to play around with that.
Is that like in DC for a while?
Yeah, it's going to be here probably during the Cherry Blossom Festival. Nice. I mean, until the cherry spring, I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And then we went and walked to the National Mall, checked out all the cherry blossoms and stuff.
I went with... Oh, I got to check that out, man. That would take the kid to that. That sounds
Yeah,
rad.
I think she would like it. Yeah. It was a very short experience. It's probably like half hour.
Yeah, a trip to DC.
Yeah, exactly.
I did. I went up with my brother. Went up to Nats Park.
Yeah, okay.
Because my Atlanta Braves were in town.
Oh.
They lost. It was whatever.
How fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. But beforehand, we went to the at the Expo Center by the airport. They had a trading card show.
Yeah.
Like big, and my brother likes baseball cards and stuff like that. He knows way more about it than I do. He knows what to look for and everything. I just, it's fun to walk around. Great people watching at the trading card show.
Yeah.
Especially on a Sunday, because apparently these guys book the booths for the weekend.
Yeah.
So Sunday, they're just wheeling and dealing.
Oh, cool.
I had one guy tell me his exact words were, "I'm way upside down on that bat." And it was a Chipper Jones signed bat. And I love Chipper Jones, but he's at $350. So I'm like, Chipper's still signing these things. If I ran into Chipper Jones, I could probably get him to sign a bat for me for,
Nothing.
Just be like, "Hey, Chipper, you want to sign this?" It's like, yeah, it's not like it's Ty Cobb or someone that's not around signing stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But there were...
the only reason I know Ty Cobb bat is from the movie Basketball.
Is that Ty Cobb on his bat?
Yeah. Oh. That's it. He's like my prized possession is my Ty Cobb bat.
Oh,
and then they throw it in the fireplace.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen Basketball since I think we watched it.
We watched it. Yeah.
Right
like
down
last
in this
year.
year basement.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. There were a bunch of youths running around, and just I know from my recent camera issues what cameras they had. They looked like kids that were trying to shoot up a YouTube video or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the $1,000 Sony camera.
That's a big thing that was at our tech house, was everybody taking really cool selfies and like making their own...
Doing it all for TikTok
videos and stuff.
Yeah,
Good for them. It's a nice spot for it.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I'm sure it's great. I think there's one of those a couple years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, that was like the immersive Van Gogh exhibit.
I went to that.
You went to that too?
Uh-huh.
So it was that kind of thing.
Yes, but the Van Gogh exhibit was like 10 times better.
All right, we're getting a correction because some people say it's Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Whatever.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
That thing, the room was like 4 times bigger than the immersion room in our tech house.
Okay. Well, I guess if it's an art tech thing, it's a smaller
Yeah,
demo.
but it was the same thing. It was a bunch of projectors throughout the entire. But the Van Gogh one, it was on the ceiling and it was on the ground on all the walls, and they had curtains on all the doors so that it just everything was covered. It wasn't like that at Art Tech.
Yeah,
yeah, but it was awesome. And also, like, Van Gogh art is really cool to look at when it's projected all over the place.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah. I didn't pick up anything at the card show. Well, I picked up 3 things. Picked up an old 1977 Star Wars card.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, it was just funny. It's just a picture of sad-looking Mark Hamill on Tatooine. Yeah, and it just says Luke sees his entire family killed. And I was just like, that's hilarious. I got a Acuna rookie card. He's brave. And then, do you remember? My brother had no memory of this. Do you remember during? And it's kind of morbid in retrospect. But you remember during the Second Iraq War when the Department of Defense gave out trading cards to people?
Yes, for the bounties on these
so
terrorists?
They had a Saddam Hussein Ace of Spades. And I bought that immediately. Because I was just like, oh, they got Saddam. So I'm like, all right.
So damn insane.
It's incredibly unrare. Like I bought it for $10 and I was like, I'm going to sell this for a fortune. I swindled this old man on a Sunday at the card show. That's when you get the deals. Everybody knows that. But yeah, it was fun. Like there were fun knickknacks. There were like some good comics and stuff there.
Yeah.
But
I love those types of expos. Yeah, because it's fun to find something that you really enjoy. I used to go to classic toy expos.
Oh really?
Yeah, I got a old first edition Duke. G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay. I was like, Nukem?
Yeah, I should have said G.I. Joe first.
Probably.
I buried the lead on that one.
That's okay.
But the guy was like, I want $80 for it. And I was like, I'm a 15-year-old kid. I got $40. And he said, I'll take $40.
I did get, this is kind of funny. It's something we mentioned when we talked a couple weeks ago about the Nolan Ryan documentary. I said that I talked to my dad, and my dad said that he saw Nolan Ryan pitch minor leagues for the Jacksonville Suns.
Right, yeah.
And they had an old Nolan Ryan. It was from it's from 97. Yeah. And it was like a Heritage Collection figure of Nolan Ryan, and he's wearing a Jacksonville Suns jersey.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it was $9. And the lady running the stand, I was like, hey, how much for this? She's like, it's $9. So I give her 2 5s, and she looks at me, and she was just like, do you want the $1 back? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, this is how commerce works.
Yeah. Like, now that you asked, I want $2.
If you wanted $10 for it, market $10, I would have given it to you. But now it's a principle of the matter. Like, honestly,
what a crazy question.
That extra
do you want a tip?
That extra $1 on it was just baffling to me. I was like, do you think that someone that wants a Nolan Ryan figure, first of all, anyone in that market for a Nolan Ryan Jacksonville Suns figurine, $1's not going to make or break the deal for him. So why don't you just mark it as $10 if you want $10? You wrote 9. You wrote 9 on that little sticker.
I guess she was like, people will buy it for 9.
You get it anyway,
and give you 2 5s, and then it would be like, do you really want me to break a 5?
How else are who
give me $1?
So much more likely you're going to sell it for $10 than someone having 4 1s on them.
Yeah. That's exactly what's hitting me. It's
just one of those things.
Here's a $10 bill.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we're done with this.
And if she had said it's $10, I would have given her $10. If she had marked it $10, I would have done it. I was just baffled by this.
That's very funny.
It's one of those dumb little interactions.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Speaking of dumb little interactions, let's get into what we're talking about this week.
Yes. Right. Go ahead.
We're going to go with my recommendation for you first.
Oh, yeah? We want to talk about that one?
Do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We'll do Bunraku second just because it was a listener submission.
Okay.
So we'll give it the due diligence that we need to.
Alrighty.
So if you listened last week, you'll know that this is the first week of All Affleck April. Hashtag All Affleck, which is fantastic. The artwork for that's coming, by the way.
Have you previewed anything?
No. I gave Jimmy carte blanche. I was like, here's what I want.
Really?
He does all of our stuff. Jimmy,
that's exciting. I didn't know you'd give him carte blanche on this.
I gave him carte blanche for our logo design. You think I sent him sketches?
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you would say something like, can I have
I literally
5
told
heads
him,
of Ben Affleck
you cannot put too much Ben Affleck in this. Because this is the month that we get Jake to finally agree Ben Affleck is an amazing actor, entertainer, a general person.
Now remembered how to spell Gigli.
Gigli.
Yeah. I just now.
That's not
I put it with an E at the end.
I'll tell you what, Gigli's not in All Affleck April. I have All Affleck April. I'm just going to
say this brings him down at least 2 points automatically.
Let me give
you a little tease.
Yeah. One of your things for All Affleck April is coming in from eBay, and I might have to track down a VCR.
Hey,
yeah,
that's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun.
I like that. We're gonna have to get an adapter and stuff.
Why?
Because it's gonna have VGA, and modern TVs have HDMI.
I think this has a VGA.
Oh yeah, for real?
Yeah, I played 64 on it. So
okay,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. So first week of All Affleck April, I recommended for Jacob.
Yes.
The 2000. Let me get this up. I should have done this when we were dicking around.
2012.
2012. I believe you're right. 2012 film.
Oh,
sorry,
baby.
2012 Academy Award Best Picture.
It won Best Picture.
Best Picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it one of the best pictures.
If 2012.
I'm gonna have to look at a list of stuff that came out in 2012.
I'll pull that up while we're talking about. Argo is the film, starring and directed by Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
It is the story of Tony Mendez. He's a CIA operative, and this is after it's set in 1979. There was an overthrow of the regime in Iran. The American embassy was taken over. That's how the movie starts out.
Yep.
Bunch of Americans are taken hostage. 6 hostages escape. They go around to different embassies. I think they hit up the Kiwis, and they hit up Sweden, yeah, another one. So they hit up 2 embassies to try to hide there. Can't do it. The Canadians take them in. They go to the Canadian ambassador's house because they can't hang out at the embassy.
Yeah.
And 6 of them are hidden there for, I think it was 80 some odd days, 88 days.
55? No. That's when the next update in the story of the movie happens. Yeah.
So they're there for a while.
Yes.
And they know that they're Americans in Iran at that time. They'll get either thrown in prison or they'll get killed.
Tortured and killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the CIA hatches a plan to finance a fake science fiction film called Argo because it was like right after Star Wars came out and Planet of the Apes and sci-fi's big.
Yeah.
So they say they're going to set up a fake production company, finance this film Argo, send a location scouting team to Iran to shoot like the desert scenes. Ben Affleck's the CIA agent running point on it, and they're going to fly them out as a Canadian film crew to get them out of the country.
Production team that was coming out to scout the spot.
It's a race against the clock. You know, it's it's espionage, it's thriller. It's a little rah-rah America, but it's not over-your-head rah-rah America. Got an amazing cast. Ben Affleck.
Rah-rah America.
It's a little rah-rah. It's just enough rah-rah America.
It's a little... It's toward the CIA, of all people. They're like...
Okay, we can get into the depiction of the CIA.
You know I have my problems with the heroes.
Yeah, well...
That is a direct quote from the movie.
They made him look bad in JFK, so they have to give him a win somewhere. So, and John Goodman's in it. Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin. Yes. Alan Arkin, I think, won an Oscar.
He deserves an Oscar for this role. He was amazing in it.
No, Alan Arkin was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Okay, but he deserves it.
Won the Oscar for Best Picture, won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Editing. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Arkin, nominated for Original Score, Sound Editing, Sound Mixing. Those awards.
Whatever. Yeah. They don't record those on the TV. I ain't going to care about them.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
That's the story. It's great. It's available on HBO Max. Jake, hit me with some stuff, man.
So, I enjoyed this movie a whole lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
More than you thought you would.
Stuff that's like takes place in late 70s, early 80s like this. Like either actual movies from there or set in that time.
Before they knew cigarettes were bad for you.
Yes.
Because everyone was smoking
all over the place. Yeah. Including airplanes, which that is baffling to me.
Hey, it seems so oppressive.
Just to be like, can I just not have to breathe?
Right.
Like, smell it.
Especially because it's the place, it's like that in a submarine are the places you can't open a window.
We're going over the ocean. This is going to take a while. I don't want to smell cigarettes this entire time.
Both of us used to work in bars when in the Commonwealth you could still smoke in them.
Yeah.
And like, even as someone, you know, who's there all the time, you didn't realize it until you're out of that environment.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because everyone else, I would come home and be like, they're like, oh, you smell like smoke.
Yeah, you smell like smoke.
Because you don't smell it, you go smell blind. But if you Dewey Cox it, like you can't smell it
anymore.
If you
step outside and then go back in, you're like, oh, yeah, this smells like cigarettes.
But now when someone lights up a cigarette, I can smell it and just like, oh, okay.
From a mile away. I can smell it on their clothes now.
That was just the 70s. Like, everything just smelled like cigarettes.
So, yeah, everybody smokes cigarettes. Everybody's got their funny little mustaches. And I would say that the greatest thing that Ben Affleck did is develop the tension really well.
Yes.
Like at the beginning, definitely.
As the director.
Yes, as the director. Yeah. With
not just the star. He was
the storming of the embassy. Like, that was really well done.
Yeah, the opening scene.
Like, it wasn't like
and that goes,
overly loud.
It did win the Oscar for best editing.
Yeah, so. It wasn't overly loud. It was really like when they cut to the security watching the security cams when everybody's storming and you can't hear anything. You just watch some cameras go down and people looking at it and they're like, all right, nobody shoot anybody because that's going to start a war.
Right.
And it's like, this is scary. Like, this is really ramping up to be something very scary.
It's a tense movie.
And then you could feel it when they're talking, when the 6 people are talking, they're like, we got to go. We got to go now. And you could see how scary that situation is.
So this is why I picked Argo for you. You picked up on it immediately. It's something, and I told you I've been plotting All Affleck April since like the start of this. It's something you brought up with your horror movie things with like It Follows and everything like that. Where you're talking about suspending the tension.
Yes.
And there are 3 individual set pieces in this movie where the tension, it's the opening, beginning, it's when they're doing the film scout in the bazaar.
Yes, that was a great one.
When they're just undercover and it's like, you know, the Iranian National or Royal Guard is going to be there. They're looking for Americans. And it's the final scene where they're trying to get out through the airport because they're trying to get out just on a commercial plane.
I would say that one was a little overzealous with it because it was like, oh my God, and then they didn't get the phone, oh my God, and then they got checked, and oh my God, what if they don't understand Farsi?
And of course that was, you know,
that was putting too much on my plate.
That was made more cinematic.
Exactly.
It went a lot more smoothly than that, apparently.
And it's just me being a snob. Right. I understand, but that was just a little too much on my plate. I would say that the scene where they're driving to the bazaar and they're
people
driving
banging on the windows.
When
the protest.
Like, he just says shit, and he's just like, just hold on. And then, like, you could see it in their face that they're like, holy shit. This is a really scary moment. I thought that was great.
Yes.
And yes, you're right. All that tension building is what espionage does really well, is when they deliver what the stakes are really well like this, and it's just delivered to you in the direction.
And I wouldn't even really super classify this as a spy movie. Like Ben Affleck's a spy. More than anything, it's a heist.
It's a espionage movie.
It's a heist. Definitely. It's a heist. They've got it. They've got it like Ocean's 11 style. They've got everyone knows their parts. Everyone knows what they're doing. There's always that moment where they're looking around like, oh shit, is this whole thing going to fall apart all at once? And then someone comes in, makes the save. And
so I had a lot of fun with this movie.
I also want to talk about Alan Arkin and John Goodman. They play the 2 Hollywood types.
Yes.
John Goodman's character, who I should know his name because he's an actual real famous person that looks like John Chambers.
Yeah.
So John Chambers, who John Goodman plays, he did
makeup effects.
Makeup effects for Planet of the Apes. He did makeup effects for Star Trek. He did all this shit.
Yeah.
So he was a very talented Hollywood guy who got involved in this, and then he just couldn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, right?
Which is, I think, spoilers for Argo, obviously, but, they get away.
Yeah.
It's very tense at the end. Like, there's police cars coming down the
I have no doubt
runway.
that the reason the ending was so pushy with all of it is that I don't care if it took like a whole day or like it took them several hours to get through security at the airport.
Yeah.
There's no way that at any moment at that airport they felt okay.
No. Nerve-wracking. I don't feel okay flying to Orlando, and I'm not even a spy. And you're allowed to go to Orlando.
You have to take on new identities. And
remember everything.
There's
a scene where Affleck's quizzing them. Because these people that are flying out, they're not spies. They're work for, I think, the Foreign Service Department.
Yeah.
Some of them, they're bureaucrats.
Yes.
They're married, and it's like, oh, this guy's stationed here. I'm going to get my wife. She's going to be in the typewriter pool because you had to type fucking everything by hand. It's like, oh, Mary can type, so let's get her over here so we could at least live together.
Yep. And that's, again, they're not equipped to handle a very stressful situation like this.
Victor Garber, who's great in everything, that plays the Canadian ambassador.
Yes.
He's a real, it's that fucking guy. He's fantastic as the Canadian ambassador.
Yeah.
And he gets to kind of like take all the credit at the end.
That was a big thing is that... Yeah, he deserves a lot of credit. He really sat on a time bomb, And
then who else?
That is such a nice thing to do.
It's the Canadians, man. They're good people.
So I would sit back.
What is it they say in Shoresy? If a friend asks for help, you help them.
Yep,
that's all
true.
of Canada. Other standout in this movie.
Alan Arkin, period.
Alan Arkin's fantastic.
Best part of this entire movie. Yeah. He delivers everything.
Always can't stop him.
Yeah, he just plays a burnt out
film producer
that's just...
He has that scene where he's cussing out Richard Kind.
Yeah.
And also Richard Kind shows up. He's great in everything, too. And where he just pulls the whole old school producer card. He's like, your movie's not getting fucking made.
Yeah.
It's so great.
He brings down the price that he offered him.
It has that it has that golden age of Hollywood, or not golden age, but a vintage Hollywood thing. Because you and I both, we went and saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood together, and we walked out.
Yeah, we walked out. I finished it, by the way.
How was it worth it?
Yes, absolutely. Honestly,
no.
Yes.
I will go back to that day knowing what I know now, and I will leave before we left. We would have stayed at Bar Louie and just kept having beers there as opposed to going to this movie.
I was very happy that I went and saw it again.
Well, you're a Tarantino guy.
Exactly. I was fine with how everything wrapped up.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
And also, Bryan Cranston's great in this. As a CIA director.
I really like how he put it in full throttle, because there's a moment where they shut down the whole operation. They're like, we're going to go with a completely different thing.
Military operation. Yes. They're going to get them all out.
Yes. And so we have to drop this whole thing. And Ben Affleck sits on it for a little while, and then he calls him back, and he says, no, we're going to do my plan. Yeah. And then Bryan Cranston just, he hangs up the phone, and he's like, give me the president. We got to stop. How are we going to do this?
Let me talk to Carter.
Yeah, he immediately
it all hinges on Jimmy Carter has to say it's okay for them to have the...
Is that true? That cannot be true.
Apparently, so Carter saw this movie because Carter's, I don't want to jinx it. Carter's still alive. I swear to God, if Jimmy Carter dies before Friday, we're recording this on April 3rd at 8:04 p.m. Eastern time. God, if I fucking jinx this, I'm never talking about anyone on this podcast.
That would be so funny.
So Jimmy Carter said when he saw it, his initial reaction was, yeah, the Canadians did like pretty much all of this.
Yes. I would have to say, just watching the movie, that is definitely the major role. Right. It's much more fun to have a hero, which is Tony Mendez.
Yeah.
And
he passed away 2019, I think. But he
really?
lived in Maryland, yeah. But he was alive when the movie came out and everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
Got to see it with his family and all that stuff.
So, yeah, it's fun to have a hero that it can revolve around like that, because that's an awesome story.
It's one of those great just stories from history. It's another movie this reminds me of that's way up my alley. One of my favorite movies ever is Charlie Wilson's War.
Haven't seen it. I've been told to watch it.
Oh, dude, you got to fucking watch that movie. Yeah. It's so good. If you liked this, you'll love Charlie Wilson's War, because it's, instead of Ben Affleck as a spy, it's Tom Hanks as a drunk congressman who inadvertently not only helps stop the Russians in Afghanistan, but also kind of starts up the terrorism that led to 9/11.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, turns out politics is hard.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
And, so what's this getting from 1 to 3?
You should see his suspenseful eyes right now.
This is why I put away the cameras. I don't want people to see how giddy I get about Ben Affleck.
I am still sitting on it. I'm going to say 3.
Yes.
I'm not going to say 3 because of Ben Affleck.
No, but this brings me to my next point, something I want to do every week this month.
Yeah.
Top Affleck moment in this. Because he did direct it, and he did star in it. I don't think he's the best in this movie. Like we both said, I think Alan Arkin is.
Yes, Alan Arkin took the movie.
Alan Arkin and John Goodman. I could watch a movie about those two characters.
Yes, their interactions were so natural and wonderful.
Yeah,
their chemistry is beautiful. I would love to watch a movie with
John Goodman can have chemistry with a 2x4.
That's very true.
He's just a fantastic actor.
Yeah, that's very.
So
true.
I'll give you my top Affleck moment. The reason I'm picking this in All Affleck April, it's a scene where it's the night before they're going out, or the night before they're breaking out, and he's talking to one of the guys, mustache glasses guy. And Ben Affleck doesn't even give him his real name, because and the guy even asks him, he's like, is that your real name? He's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a cover. He's a spy. Like, obviously not. And this guy, they need everyone to go because they need 6 people. Because that's what they said.
That's what they have.
So if they get less, they know something's up, because they're just at this time finding out by having kids put together a bunch of shredded documents that there were people missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Affleck, this guy's like, I'm not going to go. I can't go. And Affleck looks at the guy and he's like, my name is Tony Mendez. I've got a wife and a 10-year-old son. And he just gives him the fucking Affleck eyes. Like, and he just brings it. And bearded Affleck is peak Affleck.
All right.
And he just looks at him and he gets this guy to trust him. And then you're just like, hell yeah.
So
that's peak Affleck.
That's a great moment. Yeah. I really enjoy that.
That's top Affleck of this movie.
My moment is the whole time you could tell that Ben Affleck is stressed out. And he sells that very well throughout, that he is, strong and stressed out.
Yeah.
I would say the moment when he's talking to the Hollywood types about what he's doing in Iraq and how it's going. Iran. I'm sorry. And they just had a catchphrase, which was "Argo, fuck yourself."
Yeah.
And then you just see he signs off on the phone by saying "Argo, fuck yourself."
Yeah.
And he says, you see a smile on his face. He's like, "Argo, fuck yourself." And you're like, okay,
it's good Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that was
when
good.
He's talking
Ben
to
Affleck.
Bryan Cranston at the end. And Bryan Cranston says, "If we wanted applause, we would have joined the circus." And he's like, "I thought we did."
Yeah.
God, Affleck's great in this movie.
But that was a cute scene.
Yes.
Where you can see like even a friendship is developing. You know, a sense of trust.
Yes.
Has already been established between these guys, and that was really cool.
I'm taking it. I'm 1 for 1 on All Affleck April. I'm glad you liked Argo, man.
Yeah, I did. I really did.
I can't wait for this month. It's going to be the best.
I want to watch more 70s movies.
Yeah?
I'm probably going to get back into that. Oh, my
movies
God.
from the 70s or movies set in the 70s?
Movies from the 70s. I have a new... I'm going to write this down. I have a new thing to recommend to you. Okay. I don't want to forget it.
All right, well, let's get into what you recommended for me last week. That was a listener submission, and who submitted this again?
I don't know if he wants his name out there.
Okay, well, someone submitted it to us. It's the film Bunraku.
Yes.
A 2014?
A movie?
2010 film with Josh Hartnett, Woody Harrelson, a Japanese actor whose name is Gact.
Yeah, Gact.
Gact? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's how it's spelled. G-A-G... or G-A-C-K-T.
I know Gact. He was a model for
handsome man.
Very handsome man.
Distractingly handsome almost.
He was a model for a video game character for the PS2 era, and I cannot remember what.
I'll try to find it out.
But that is my biggest pull that I have.
It's got Woody Harrelson, Ron Perlman, Demi Moore's in it for a little bit. That's fun.
That's true.
And so, talk us through why you recommended... or why you thought I needed to watch it. Okay, so this was recommended by a fan submission, and I kept saying, we'll talk about it, we'll talk about it, we'll talk about it.
And then I took the initiative.
And then you watched it, and then
go ahead and watch it.
I know Taylor well enough to know that he's probably never going to watch it.
Yes. We were going to keep pushing it off, and I didn't want to push this off anymore. It was just staring at me off my shelf.
Yeah.
And so I walked into this movie not knowing anything about it. And what this movie is about is you follow a guy from the cowboy place from the West, so I would say.
We could both kind of tag team this one since it's not something you recommended off the bat.
Yeah.
So it's set, the opening narration of it says that this is a world where it's set in the future. The world almost destroyed itself, so humanity came together as one, and they're like, no more guns.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a gun, it's punishable by death. So, like, they go back to swords and shit like that. So, swords, bow and arrows, punch you in the face, brass knuckles, fun stuff.
And then
and
a hierarchy of power,
like
comes
little
out of that.
warlords, kind of just develop. And it's it's not 7 billion people. It's feels like a whole lot less people. You don't get a lot of backstory about the world, but you kind of delve into it. It sets up,
itself really nice.
And so it's in one town that's run by a warlord, or I guess whatever you want to call him.
It's the number one.
Number one guy, they say east of the Atlantic,
the
woodcutter. It's played by Ron Perlman.
Yes.
And
Josh Hartnett comes to town.
Yeah.
And he starts causing a ruckus.
Starts punching people in Woody Harrelson's bar.
Yes.
And then Gak's character, Yoshi, is he's a Ronin, basically.
Yes.
He wears like kind of the Ronin getup. It talks about Bushido and Jin and all that stuff.
He wants to not use violence anymore. He doesn't want to kill anybody.
Because they have that great little Japanese piece of wisdom, however you want to say it, like a compassionate warrior is a contradiction, something like that, in the Bushido code. And it's a very, very stylized movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
The very beginning, it felt like you were recording a stage play.
Yeah, it looks like... kind of like it's almost like live action origami. I don't know if there's a term for that.
I would say so, like papercraft sky,
almost like a little Paper Mario sort of thing.
Yeah,
like it looks,
there's like creases in the sky.
Really, really nice early South Park. Like if they took their fucking time,
and
making
really nice colors.
Yes, very bright, very vivid. It had kind of has like a Sin City thing.
Yes,
it's kind of going for the. It's overly stylized. Where I don't mind things that are super stylized. If, like this and like Sin City, they commit to it.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is what we're going to do. It's all black and white, except for some reason, fucking this weird-looking dude's yellow.
Yeah,
get on board or don't. Like, just do whatever. And so they have this thing where Ron Perlman has 9 killers.
Yeah.
And they protect him thing. And it's like...
ranked. Yeah.
His whole thing in this power structure is if you have he'll send out 20 people. Anyone else, you got 20 people with you. You want to take me over? You're 20 against my 20. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Anytime. And so it starts out with someone trying to roll up on their 20.
Yeah.
And they get their asses kicked by one guy, Killer Number 2, my favorite character in the whole movie.
Yeah.
That guy rules.
I love he uses a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stick is awesome.
And so Josh Hartnett comes in. He's got kind of a vendetta. It doesn't really play into it. Gact, he wants to... Ron Perlman has a medallion that came from Gact's family. And so they're strangers, but they kind of like... it's like
they have a common
enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a strangers on a train thing. They meet up and then they both can help each other out.
Yeah.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend is the way to say that. So yeah, it's super stylized, super violent. Story wasn't great. Wasn't anything that's going to, knock your dick in the dirt. It's not like, oh my God, it's mind-blowing. Like,
the movie doesn't hinge on its story.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. It's a straight-up revenge story. Fight all these lower guys until you get to the high guy.
What I honestly didn't expect was the amount of action inside of it.
Yes.
And exciting action.
And it's all very...
I thought it was just going to be a really stylized movie.
It is.
Yeah. So the choreography was awesome.
Fight choreography is great. Yeah, especially not having any gunplay because all the guns are outlawed. And I was gonna roll my eyes. So like I thought it was gonna play into this thing at the end, kind of like what we talked about with your fucking Wandering Samurai movie, where Zatoichi, where it's like, oh, he has a gun.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're going to use the gun. I was like, if this plays another fucking movie where there's one gun and everyone's worried about the one gun, and it's like, no, Ron Perlman's just got axes. And they didn't play into that. Over the moon about that. That automatically knocked it up to at least a 2. That they didn't.
Good move.
Do that.
Just being like
sticking to it. They're like, no guns, fighting. No guns. There's no guns.
Melees. That's it. Bow and arrows.
Bow and arrows. And it was very stylized. The sets. And the set design and everything, fantastic. You tell it was like for when they're on like motorcycles and stuff, it's a CGI background and everything. But for the most part, like you said earlier, it's kind of like a stage play almost.
Yeah. And I love when movies do that. I honestly do. You
know what it friggin' reminded me of? So like 3/4 of the way through is like, or beginning of the third act, I would say. After, or end of the second act, Josh Hartnett's breaking Gact out of prison. Gact has a run-in with the cops. He gets put in prison. Josh Hartnett's like, I'm going to
bust him out.
I'm going to roll up and get this guy out of there. And it's shot almost like if you've ever seen the movie and the stage play of Chicago.
Oh, for real? That's what
the Chicago
brought to you?
The Chicago the musical. There's a musical number where it's like a whole bunch of ladies in jail and they're talking about how they killed their husband and stuff.
Okay.
But it's just kind of that static shot where you just have a set thing where you're looking like straight on at, like if someone cut a hole or a wall off the building and you're seeing all of it and just seeing it act out. It's beautifully lit, almost look like a fucking animated movie, but you could tell it's real people.
Yeah.
And there's another time when Josh Hartnett and Gact are coming in on guys and dudes come out and they do like the overly ornate flips when they're starting to fight.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, instead of just, walking out of here, I'm going to do a front flip and then kind of spin around and do like one of these.
Yeah. I'm going to twinkle my fingers at you.
And it reminded me of fucking like old school musical theater, like Guys and Dolls and stuff, or like West Side Story where people
feel
are doing
that from that one.
So it was almost like they made a choreographed musical where everyone's beating each other up.
Yeah.
But then they just said, we don't need this fucking song.
And that's what made the fighting look really cool. That scene that you were talking about, the prison breakout?
Yeah.
All one shot, which is great.
Yes.
And it reminded me of the movie Old Boy.
I have not seen Old Boy yet.
Old Boy's got an infamous one shot
hallway
fight scene.
Josh Brolin movie.
Oh, yes. That movie, that one has a one shot, 2-story stair fight.
Yeah. Daredevil did it better.
God awful. It is awful.
Oh, I'm well aware that was the remake before people correct us. I was just doing it to be a dick.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I really tried. I watched the whole thing. It was a bad idea.
Of course you watched the whole thing of bad things. You finished Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Obviously, that's your MO.
I'll watch a movie. I swear to God.
Clearly, over the past 20 weeks, we've proved that you'll watch a movie.
I will sit down and watch a movie. I do not care.
Out of spite sometimes.
But I thought that was a great fight to do one shot, and that's when I was watching it. I was like, Josh Hartnett could be an action star.
I will say this. In the email that we got for this, they said that Josh Hartnett is good as an action star. You said the same thing last week, that Josh Hartnett pulls it off. I think he does well.
I think he pulls it off really well.
He's not like overly, like he gets hurt. He gets like an axe in his fucking shoulder.
Yeah.
But he does that kind of almost like John Wicky. Like he's a slender guy, but you could tell it's not that he's overly strong; it's that he knows what he's doing.
Yes, he'll take a punch if he'll give a punch if he gets the opening.
Right.
He's not like, let's have a worthy battle. He's
exactly.
Like, you're talking really mean to me. I'm just going to punch you in the gut now.
Right. So he's great. Gact is great. Ron Perlman's always good.
Yeah.
I did like, what's the fucking guy's name that plays Killer Number 2?
I don't know. But that guy.
Kevin McKidd. So I was wondering where I knew his voice from. It was like he's a little bit Scottish.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy, I don't know,
do
I see him anything?
Yeah.
He's the voice and does the motion capture for Soap McTavish, who's the main character in
the
Call of Duty game.
That's Soap?
Yeah, he's Soap.
That's
Call
unbelievable.
Of Duty.
That's insane.
And I was just like, God, this guy, like, I can picture his voice somewhere, but I'm like, he's so fucking Soap.
Funny.
Yeah.
That guy wins over that movie just because he chews the shit out of the scenery.
It's kind of like what we talked about with What's His Nuts last week, Chris Pine.
Yes.
Just everyone in this movie commits full on.
Yes, you have to be over dramatic in this movie, and he was like, "I am going to take it to the next level."
It was literally like if someone put on a kung fu stage play.
Yes,
which I'm sure they did, and I guess that's kind of what Bunraku is. I looked up and I was like, "What's that name?" No one's name is Bunraku. Last week I watched a movie called Stretch, and Stretch was in it. I was expecting fucking Bunraku to show up, and it's a Japanese puppet show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like the 2-foot tall Japanese puppets. So that's what it is. It's not Bunraku. It is a Bunraku type thing. And I was like, fucking A. And you know, the director who also wrote it, whose name is Guy Moshe, didn't do much after this. Oh. But he fucking committed to it. He had a vision. He wrote and directed it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Like if this was what he was going for, he fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, so Bunraku gets a 3.
Okay. I say that these 3 points go to the listener.
Well, who gets your points?
I don't know.
What points
we
do you
both
get?
I say this movie, I say you give it 6 points, and then you give 3 points.
Well, how about this?
Listener.
You get 3, and then listener rec gets 6, and we could have a leader scoreboard.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we could have a scoreboard. He gets 6.
He gets a 3 as well.
Yes.
And then if the
no, he gets 3.
next listener,
he gets 3 from both, so he gets 6.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because we might not agree. We're not giving people 0.5s. I'm not even adding above 3 on this.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yes.
All right. So yeah, Bunraku, fantastic. And again, it's one of those things, and I think we've said this about stuff in the past. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
If you like action movies, you're really gonna love this movie.
It's like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. If you don't get it, that's fine.
If you're
I'm not gonna tell you you're dumb for not liking it. There are a lot of people that I didn't think I would like this, and then it just sold me on it. I mean, they commit to the bit. That's the most important thing to me. Commit to the bit.
Honestly, watching it, I would think that it was the set design and the just the way it looks that would draw you in.
The set design that also reminded me of, and I thought about this, was the fucking Warren Beatty Dick Tracy. Yeah, remember that where they kind of made it look like it was like they used like the colors that they would use in the comic strip. So like the roads were fucking orange or whatever. Yeah, and so it looked like an old timey
very
newspaper
bold colors.
Yeah, right. And Dick Tracy is another thing. They've committed to the bit. So it's kind of like kung fu.
It has a great move. It has a great look to it.
Right,
that's for sure.
It's quite literally an East meets West thing. It's an old timey like almost cowboy gangster and a Ronin. Yeah, East meets West. And it's great. Yeah. That's a great little movie. Clocks in at 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Totally worth it. Jake and I both have copies. If you find us, we'll hook you up with a Blu-ray.
We'll hook you up.
Yeah, so definitely Bunraku 3.
Great.
Check it out.
I'm really happy I made you watch it.
I'm happy you made me watch it. I'm happy that it was recommended to us because I think when we first got the email, neither of us knew what the hell it was.
I've heard of it before. I've had friends recommend it to me.
Definitely.
It just fell off my radar after a while. Because there's also a movie called Baron Tao, and that's a action movie as well, and I just kept confusing the two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I confused David Lynch and
David Fincher.
David Fincher. Yeah.
You called him David Fincher.
Fincher.
That's one of the grievances.
Well, yeah. Is it?
Yes.
I don't care. All right, we'll get into this in a minute. All right, so Bunraku's a 3.
Woohoo!
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So we don't have a mailbag this week. What we're going to do is I've been told that there's a list of grievances.
It's a very small list.
If it's more than one thing, it's a list.
Okay.
Fucking someone's trying to Martin Luther this podcast and like put up their 93 theses.
I collected these when I was talking with
wait, let me double check.
Fans of the show.
Let me make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. Double check through it.
Oh. another likable Affleck thing, since I'm trying to make it like Affleck off the screen and on the screen and behind the camera and in your heart.
I have no doubt he's a good man.
He's a great man.
So, I have no doubt Jennifer Gardner is a good friend. She took him to rehab.
And he's married to J-Lo, so.
Remarried?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
And he's got a sweet back tattoo. So, Affleck...
Points off.
Affleck won the Golden Globe for Best Director.
Uh-huh.
This won Golden Globe for Best Picture Drama as well. He was not nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Director. And it's really rare for a film to win Best Picture and not even get a nomination for Best Director.
Yeah.
And he had a couple people that kind of spoke out on his behalf. Best Picture or Best Director that year went to Ang Lee for Life of Pi, Kid in a Canoe with a Tiger. Mm-hmm. And they talked to Affleck, I think even like Quentin Tarantino came out and said that he was snubbed because Tarantino had Django that year too. That was the year Christoph Waltz won for Django. He beat out Alan Arkin. He was great in Django. That's a good... And I'm not even a Tarantino guy. Christoph Waltz was... You talk about chewing the fucking scenery. Yeah. That guy makes a meal out of everything.
He was really, really well done in that movie.
But someone brought up at the Golden Globes, are you upset that you got snubbed for Best Director? And Ben Affleck said something to the effect of, people keep asking me if I'm mad for being snubbed for Best Director. I also wasn't nominated for Best Actor, and no one says I was snubbed for that. And I was just like, little self-deprecating.
He had a joke. I can't believe he had a joke
already.
Because I remember Affleck, the life insurance company, reached out to him and be like, wouldn't it be funny if you were in our commercial? And he was like, how dare you?
Listen, you could have a sense of humor about yourself for certain things.
I get that. I get that. That's why I'm not like...
I'm self-deprecating as long as it's a good joke. The fact that your company's name is Affleck and my name is Affleck, that's not a great joke.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. They could have done something with that. That's got legs. The joke's got legs.
He's an Academy Award winner for a writer and a director.
It's got legs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so fun Affleck.
All right,
go on. Let's hear the grievances.
You want to do the grievances or you want to do recommendations?
Let's do grievances and then we'll do recommendations.
Right. This is a really short list. All right?
Okay.
Number 1 on the list. We talked about my previous podcast that I had.
Yes.
And when you said that my co-host was named Richie.
Yes. No, you said that.
One of us said that his name was Richie.
Yes.
It is not Richie. It was Chris.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Yeah.
Last episode.
You brought that up as a correction. Here's my correction for you.
I'm just going down the list.
You said that the week afterwards.
I'm just going
Once we get an intern, I'm going to have him set up the clip of you say that you corrected this already.
I'm just going down the list.
Fine.
The next one. Last week, I brought up Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
I still pronounce it Jojovic.
Okay.
It's very hard to say Jovovich.
I just said Fifth Element.
Yeah, that was probably a really good idea. All right.
I don't see anything that I've been wrong so far, and I'm just
saying grievances.
All right.
I never said you were wrong.
I felt personally attacked when you told me there was a list of grievances. If they're all about you, I mean, fair play.
Yep.
They're calling balls and strikes.
All right. Here's the last one for you.
Okay.
Blackfish wasn't in Catherine Called Birdie.
Right.
Blackfish is Clive Russell, who is not Dagmar Clefton.
Okay.
Who is in Catherine
Called Birdie. That
concludes.
Listen, I gotta say, for 20 episodes,
I'm sure there's plenty more.
That's all we got wrong. I think we're doing okay.
I'm sure there's plenty more. I want them all.
Also,
this is so much fun.
My resolve has been strengthened that I have not said one thing incorrect.
Oh, please.
In 20, now, you know what? I would say in 19 episodes, because that's what you've heard. I'll say in 20.
Finchner.
Yeah.
You said
But I also said I thought he was David Lynch. I Afflecked it, so I did a little self-deprecating. So you come around and be like, oh, he's charming. Look at him. He knows he's wrong. He's a scamp. Look at him. I bet he has a sweet Phoenix back tattoo.
Oh, my God.
That's what you're going to get.
A back tattoo?
That's going to be... You've not seen Ben Affleck's back tattoo?
Why would anybody get a back tattoo?
He was going through some shit, man. Let me know. You've seriously not seen Ben Affleck's back tattoo?
No. Why would I? You know I don't do anything with Ben Affleck.
All right. So this is going to be...
All I knew...
If you do Ben
I know the Jennifer Gardner thing because I like Jennifer Gardner.
If you Google Ben Affleck back tattoo, I'm going to show Jake the picture, and it will be his
I'm going to like it.
Reaction.
It's going to be John 3:16.
No.
Isn't it?
When I tell you Ben Affleck has a phoenix back tattoo.
A phoenix.
First of all, it rises from the ashes, much like Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm. And you're talking about the X-Men character.
No, I'm talking about the mythical bird.
I'm talking about Jean Grey.
All right, ready?
Now. All right.
Live reaction to this.
Let me see what you got. Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's like a magic eye poster. The longer you look at it, the weirder it gets.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It looks like at some point they were like, you wanted a fish, right?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it has a koi fish thing.
And then he's like, no, I said Phoenix. And they're like, oh, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
I can fix this. Oh, no.
Yeah, it says that when this article came out in 2015, Affleck, early last week, new photos revealed a massive multicolored tattoo of a phoenix rising from the ashes, widely thought to be splashed across Ben Affleck's back, was not, contrary to previous statements, quote, fake for a movie.
Oh, no.
Boo-boo.
Oh, man.
God, it's so majestic.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get that on my neck.
Oh, Baffer.
Because I don't want to work again. All right, so we did our corrections. Let's get into what we're going to be recommending next week. Jake, what do you got for me first?
So I got one of my favorite comedies.
Yes.
Of all time.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to find it. You can find episodes of this on Vimeo.
Oh, so you know it's weird.
It's a comedy group / TV show called Stella.
Okay.
Starring Michael Ian Black, Michael Showalter, and David Wayne.
So they were members of the State?
They were members of the State. They met each other through that, and that's when they branched off and created Stella. Is it in this box? This DVD box set is amazing. This is back when people gave a absolute gigantic
Comedy Central
shit.
made all their money selling Chappelle DVDs, so they put everything on DVD.
So it's a beautiful looking box, I have to say.
So I remember when this came out, I know Michael Ian Black and all these guys from their work with the State, like fucking Wet Hot American Summer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never watched this show.
I absolutely love this show.
I mean, I take that back. I'm sure I've seen some of this. I would not think to ever give it a second chance. But
it's a quick watch. All 6 episodes.
There's 6 episodes?
Just 6 episodes.
It's 2 DVDs.
It's there's quality in there. There's extras and stuff on there.
Okay.
You know? They have their Comedy Central Presents on there, and they have History of Stella on there, and they have a secret hidden skit that you can find.
Well, that's
on
fun.
There.
All right, so I'm going to check out Stella. I guess everyone else can look at some other stuff.
You can find it on Vimeo. You can find episodes 2, 4, and 6 on Vimeo.
Wow, you've done this research. All right, I have something for you, and it's a present.
A present?
A present.
Yay!
Close your eyes.
Oh, no. My eyes are closed, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I cannot see anything.
You know how you've been... All right, you can open them.
This is a Ben Affleck present.
It's Ben Affleck, the second week 2 of All Affleck April.
Okay.
You know, you said you've been wanting to do physical media.
Okay.
And you want... So this is a gift for you. You get to keep it.
Okay.
Since you want only physical media, you don't want like...
Okay. Yes.
So I bought you a Blu-ray.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Wonderful.
So I did mention that there would be possibly a superhero thing.
I have news for you, actually.
What's that?
Before we break into this, I already feel a pit in my stomach from what you just said to me. But I just read news that there's a 4K restoration of Mallrats coming out. Did you see that? Yes.
No, good for that.
I should think you should get it because it looks wonderful.
Yeah,
it looks like
I
it
love
costs
Mallrats.
like $45.
I'll take it. I'll give Kevin Smith all my money.
When I find the link, I'll send it.
So it said superhero things with a director's cut.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he did.
Apparently you got some grievance on that too.
Oh, man. I couldn't sit through Man of Steel.
No one really liked...
You know I watch movies.
I don't think the Snyder Cut was for anybody. Because people that liked Snyder thought it was just for them, and it wasn't much better. In fact, in a lot of ways, it was worse. It was 4 hours long.
Oh, my God.
Good news is...
Yeah.
You're not watching that.
Oh, my God.
You're watching the director's cut of Daredevil.
Oh, my God. That is so funny.
So,
I'm actually excited. Michael Clark Duncan is in this.
If you listen back to other episodes, I've incepted you with this too, because we talked about Daredevil, and then I said, "Have you ever seen the director's cut?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, "It's a lot better."
Oh, it's a lot better.
And I took a note in my phone. I was like, "Jake hasn't seen the Daredevil director's cut." This is like fucking October.
Yeah, this was a while ago. I remember us talking about that.
I think this was actually before the podcast.
Again, we brought up Michael Clark Duncan was a fantastic Kingpin.
Yeah,
that's a really good choice.
I think it was when they announced the Daredevil series for Netflix is coming back.
Thank you, buddy.
And also, Kevin Smith is in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun.
So this is the director's cut.
And I'm happy to have this on my shelf, honestly.
Yes, you will.
Yes. So
I've added Bunraku to the podcast shelf.
Hell yeah.
It's over there next to the Marvel.
Yeah,
and
look at that.
Sandman.
Wonderful.
And The Big Short, which you hate, but I'm putting there as spite. So this is the director's cut of Daredevil. It's a little bit longer.
Okay.
It has just as many Evanescence songs, so you don't have to worry about losing any of that.
Oh, Daredevil.
But I will say this, because you remember, when was the last time you saw the movie?
Oh, years and years and years ago.
So it came out in 2003. I know I saw it in theaters. I went on a date to that movie in theaters.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How romantic.
She talked, and I was like, fucking Ben Affleck's on. It's Ben Affleck. What are we doing? What are we doing? Ben Affleck says Daredevil on the screen. And the director's cut is objectively a better movie.
Yeah.
Than
that's amazing.
The
That's
original.
so funny. I can't even remember the story, the central conflict.
Well, Matt Murdock's a lawyer.
I remember the light at the end of the tunnel? Sometimes that's a train coming at you.
You want to talk about chewing scenery? Colin Farrell in this movie?
Yes. I also remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to watch the director's cut of Daredevil, week 2 of All Affleck April. Where's he going to go from here?
That's so
How
exciting.
Does it end?
We got a VHS coming our way.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Funny story about that. I accidentally sent the VHS to a place I used to live because that's where my eBay...
Yeah.
I mean, it's still in
that.
town.
Yeah.
So now I get to go and knock on someone's door and ask them if they've received my VHS copy.
I might have opened up something that's got Ben Affleck.
Hey, you probably got something weird. So yeah, week 2,
wow.
All Affleck April, Daredevil Director's Cut. I'm going to watch some Stella.
Woohoo.
All right, Jake, thanks for coming out, buddy. I love you.
I love you too.
Good talking to you. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.